So The Sims 4 is going to be 10 years old this year in September, and something that I've noticed a lot lately in my own personal game is that I don't build a lot of community lots, and so today we're going to be building a restaurant slash laundromat on one lot in Brindle Bay. I will say when it comes to restaurants in The Sims 4, they're very unique to build every once in a while, because each pack that we get new build and buy items, new clothing, and also sometimes new food, and it's always fun to experience to like go to a restaurant, eat the food, find the recipe, make it yourself, and just have a fun time of just being there in that environment. And sometimes when I ever want to go adventure out into the Sims 4 with my own Sims, I'm trying to have them like really see the fun side of not being in their home, whether they're going to a restaurant or a library or a laundromat or just walking to the park or down the street. And for this specific restaurant slash laundromat, I'm building in Brindle Bay for my save file with my friend Dabney, and we're turning this town into a college town set in the fall season, because as of lately I've been trying to like really replay all the old packs that we've had lately, like Discover University and high school years and all the other packs like Growing Together, especially Growing Together. And I will say I've been having the most fun replaying Discover University with my own like Sims of like doing different degree plans and having them live in different worlds. Because if you did not know this, you don't have to actually live in Brightchester to go to university. You can live in any world of your choosing. You can live on campus, which is Brightchester in the dorms, or live off campus, either in your own apartment or your own home or whatever it might be. And for me, Brindle and Bay gives off like that college old town vibe, especially in the fall time. Because if you've watched Gilmore Girls, you know Rory Gilmore, her whole philosophy of like schooling and just journalism and everything like that. And Stars Hollow in the fall time is just so good. Small town vibes, leaves are changing, and it's just good, you know? So in this world, we only have a couple of townies that live here. The Hecking household with Brant and Brent Hecking, with their dog Rosie, and then the Delgado family, and then the cat lady with her bunches of cats in the world. And there's like a few community lots here and there. I mean, originally on this lot, I think it's like a bar, but it's not a restaurant, but it could be turned into a restaurant. We have like a lounge, we have like some parks here and there, a vet clinic, and like a few other things too. But it gives off like beachy coastal vibes, and I felt Brindle Bay needed more things to be added, like a restaurant, maybe like another park or two, maybe having, you know, a good library and like more residential lots to live in, because I always felt cats and dogs was missing something, whether it was more activities for the cats and dogs to do, more activities for the kids, more houses, more community lots, whatever it might be. But also in each and every world we have like spawnable areas, but also, and we also have hopscotch and marbles from the for rent pack that I thought would be a good addition to add to this world. And the reason why I'm like decorating the general environment for each and every part of Brindle and Bay is to give your sim something to do other than like going to one community lot or doing their laundry. Because for me in real life, when I want to go drive somewhere that's far, far away, like an hour, 2 hour away, I want to make sure I have other things on my itinerary. So that way I'm just like not stuck there. So let's say you have your sim going on a date with themselves or with someone else, and they have their dinner date at like 6 p.m., but you want to like go and explore the world, like go paint, maybe take a photo at the photo booth, sell some crystals or some food at the selling tables, or just meeting other Sims at the park, or just walking on the beach, whatever it might be. Just giving your Sim the chance to like explore other things than one lot. And I always felt like with The Sims 4, I would love to see multifunctional lots where you can do more than one thing. And since your Sims can technically wash their laundry off of their own lot, it seemed like a perfect idea to add a laundromat on the side of the diner slash restaurant. Because when you think about it, college students, we broke, we sad, and we sometimes alone and don't got a lot of money to spend on laundry all the time. And also, you know, small little laundromats are always cheap, you know, 25 cents, 50 cents for washing or drying your clothes. And it just seemed perfect because when you're waiting for your dinner, you can also wash your clothes at the same time, or wash your clothes and then get dinner. Or if you're on a run, you wash your clothes and then get food. Whatever makes your Sims happy, do what you want to do. But the idea of adding a laundromat seemed like a silly idea at the time. But when I was building this on stream, everyone was like, this is a good idea. You should go and do more multifunctional lots. And I think the next build I definitely want to do for this particular save file is build some type of like fall festival set in the fall time. Because if y'all don't know, me and my friend Dabney are making a save file together and turning this into a college town set in the fall time. And I always loved the Sims 3 fall festivals or just festivals in general, and I kind of wanted to replicate that in this game to see what it could possibly do. So TBD on that build, but for now, restaurant building is where we're at for now. And whenever I think of Brindleland Bay, I think of like seafood, we're by the water, we're a fishing town. It just makes perfect sense to just like do a seafood themed restaurant, but I wanted to include a lot of variety of foods that normally you probably would not have seen if you don't have like all the other packs, and just have fun with it. And the for rent pack came with a lot of good signage that I thought was so cool. And I wanted to make it very grungy and run down, but well upkept enough where people would come here, eat food, and would not complain about the smudges on the wall or the mold on the floor. Little things like that. It's a community-based restaurant owned by someone locally in Brindleland Bay who owns it. And even though it may have like a 3.5-star rating and like there's scratches and, smudges on the wall, they don't mind it because it's part of the culture of Brindleland Bay. They love the people here. They love the fisher community here. They love, everything about this town. They just don't complain, if that makes any sense. But nonetheless, though, I really wanted to see how far I could take this build because normally I don't build community lots and I struggle with them of like how to decorate them properly, of like what items to add, what items don't add, and also keeping the general idea of making this functional because we needed, required tables and chairs and a hostess station, a waiter station, and a chef station for it to fully function. And honestly, when I was building this, I was thinking of it as an old house converted into a restaurant because I'm like, I don't build a lot of community lots in The Sims 4 because I don't know what to do. But when I have a story in mind, it all makes sense. Once a livable home, then abandoned, and then converted into a new, home or community lot. And since for the save file, and since the save file is kind of built on the premise of Thomas Deadgrass from Deadgrass Discoveries, who founded Brindleland Bay and built Deadgrass dormitories in that back island with the graveyard over there, I was thinking that this was like one of the first houses that were put in Brindleland Bay, and then it's been here since like the 1800s or whatever, and then it became abandoned. And it was like, it's 2024 or like the early 2000s, and someone's like, hey, this is a good property. We want to convert this into a restaurant so other people can come here for tourism, make the Brindleland Bay more livelier, profitable, because we are a fisher town built on the premise of fishing and coastal, and we have good views of the island of Dead Grass Discoveries. It may be haunted, but it's a good island to go to for the lighthouse. And I will say when it comes to restaurants in The Sims 4, they can be quite daunting to go to because it takes a very long time to get your food. But I will say it's gotten a lot better in the past couple of years, at least for me, and I'm counting this as a win. So if you say it's bad, it is. But before, when I had played with Dino a couple years ago, it took 4 hours to get my food in game time, which I was like, that's too long. My Sims are gonna starve. But as of lately, it's only taken 2 hours to get my food, and I was like, wait, a win is a win. I'm okay with that because the thing is, whenever I go out in The Sims 4 to like a community lot or like a park or whatever, and there's like a long wait time, I like to have activities on hand so that way the time is like not wasted. I'll chit chat, I might draw on a little placemat, I might go to the bathroom, I might walk outside and then come back indoors, and then my food has been arriving to my table. But I will say whenever I want to play as like a chef or some type of like own a restaurant, I want to make sure like there are things to do. And since we can own our own restaurant in The Sims 4, I'm able to like add multifunctional things like an easel, a little lounge on the side, maybe adding some cat trees or cat towers or whatever it might be so other Sims can interact with them, so that way they're just not sitting at their table for like hours on end waiting for their food. And if they ever do a dine out refresh, if they ever do, I would love for them to have a way where we can work as a chef or work as a host or hostess or a waiter and deliver the food ourselves, or have a way where we can like deliver food. Like, let's say, for example, Eliza Pancakes, who I deeply hate so much, along with Judith Ward. If you know, you know. But let's say they were ordering takeout at this restaurant and they wanted to order lobster with some crinkly fries, some tapioca pudding, and maybe like a soft drink or whatever. And they wanted to get that delivered, and we have like a delivery person to go deliver it to their house for X amount of simoleons. That would be so cool because we technically already have Zoomers in The Sims 4, and I think that's part of base game that we got around when we got Cottage Living, I think. But having like that system would be so cool to be our own delivery person or work as our own chef or host or hostess or waiter. That way we kind of have like that responsibility to be like living in our home, kind of like a Bob's Burger situation where they live on top of the restaurant but work at the bottom, and they all work together as a family and making like a family restaurant. And whoever, unalives at some point in The Sims, they can pass down the deed to their kids or their aunts or their uncles or whatever, passing the deed to someone that they know and they can trust. And I would love to see that. And I know that Carl Sims for God has made a Dine Out Reloaded mod, and it's super, super helpful where you can work as a chef or a waiter or whatever. I haven't properly used it all the way through, but it has made my like Dine Out experience a little bit better of owning, but also like going to a restaurant. But if they could implement it in the game itself, that would be great. But I will say though, with this lot specifically, I was kind of hesitant of actually utilizing laundry because whenever I use laundry in The Sims 4, Sims will forget to clean out the lint trap, and then when lint traps are not cleaned out, a fire starts. So hopefully down the line when I play with this restaurant one day, The Sims will not do that. But I like the idea that we can take our laundry from our own home, put it in our inventory, and then basically go to a laundromat and wash our own clothes and dry them and then go back home with clean clothes. I love that idea. But I had like this weird, I think it was a glitch, I really don't know, but I was in a custom save file and a lot that I used, I think by Simlicy. But all I know, when I used that lot, somehow it was charging my sim money, but they weren't losing money. And I'm thinking, that's a really cool idea. Imagine your Sims take their laundry, go to a laundromat, have to pay like 5 simoleons or whatever to get their laundry, washed, and then another 5 to get it dried. And then you have like different vending machines and like different little places where they can sit and wait. I love stuff like that. And recently there was a movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and they lived at the top of their laundromat. And I thought it was so cool where they have different customers, they have, the washer and dryers all lined up, they have like food here and there. It's just like a local community build that other people can like adventure into for whatever reason. And it's just like just so cool. So if we ever get that one day, I would be very, very happy. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the game and show you all the build in real time. So that way you can kind of see what I was working with, especially with the idea that I had in my head that I put on paper, aka in the game. But let's see the build in real time. I will say when it comes to Brindlin Bay specifically, the world is very nice and large enough to build whatever you want, however you want, but it still has like that small town vibe that you're looking for in a Sims game, at least for me. And with the save file, the theme that I wanted to go for was college town, small town, Fisher, coastal vibes. And for this lot specifically, I wanted to make sure I had multifunctional things you could do. And so on the right side, we have a laundromat where you can wash your clothes. And on the left side, you can come here, eat your food, chit chat with friends, go on a date, have parties, whatever you want to do basically. And with the general environment, I wanted to give you something to do. So I added in like a dumpster for dumpster diving, napping in the dumpster. I also added in the for rent grill because I thought it was a good addition. And it just like, it fits the vibe that I'm trying to go for. And then I realized in this general area, there was only one restroom. And so I decided to add in another one, but next door to the restaurant, which may seem unsanitary in a lot of different ways, but you got to think of the idea. Old town abandoned house converted into a restaurant, so they needed to do something to kind of get more people in, but also out at the same time. I wanted to make sure like the general outside was fit for just the restaurant alone. But I also wanted to make sure the people who sit outside where they're seated is that they could see what the chef is doing to their food, how they're making it, how they're preparing, and also when it's going to get done. And the waiter can come outside, grab their food, and then bring the food outside to the customers. But I kind of really like the whole like crusty, dusty, wear and tear of like the tables and chairs. And I believe all these are actually from the Yeehaw pack, or at least the chairs are from the Yeehaw pack, and the tables are from Cats and Dogs. But for the inside, I wanted to make sure it had like that old, moldy looking vibe. So I added in the lawn chairs from the For Rent pack. The tables I think are from City Living, and different posters around the wall and knickknacks and paddywhacks, because it is technically a community build. And I felt like if people live in Brindleland Bay and they have lived their entire lives, went to high school here, went to college here, I was like, I might as well put a lot of like different diplomas and photos and different artwork on the wall to kind of capture that vibe they are looking for. And I think I captured the vibes very well. But in the far back, I added in like records and some puzzles and some trophies. And over here is the general kitchen for all the chefs and the waiters and the hostess. But in the back area, since it is the world that we got with Cats and Dogs, I want to include cats and dogs into the mix. So I thought like stray animals might come by to the restaurant where the chefs or whoever will fill in the bowls to feed the animals so they're not going hungry or, too cold or whatever. We even have some pet beds lied around the building, and also another dumpster for your Sims who might want to sleep in said dumpster for whatever reason. But then for the upstairs, we have the bathrooms, which you did not see because I did cut that out. I felt like bathrooms are very redundant and are not as interesting to look at in speed builds, but in real-time versions, it makes it more appealing just to see it in slow mode. We have 3 different stalls here, and I went with like adding in my own walls because I felt like the stalls in The Sims 4 are too big, and doing this way just seemed like a perfect idea. But on the right side, we have the laundromat where your Sims can do all their laundry, and I've tested this out before where your Sims can take their laundry from their own hamper, put it in their inventory, and then travel wherever they want, like this laundromat, wash their clothes, dry their clothes, and then put it back in their inventory with fresh, clean, dried clothes. So I wanted to make sure your Sims had somewhere to go to do their laundry without having to go and do it in their own home if they can't afford one or they just don't want one. I also added in a random, changing table, which seems kind of very unsanitary in a lot of different ways. But from what I have seen in like different movies and TV shows and Pinterest boards, sometimes people have like a changing table in a laundromat when there's a bathroom not accessible. So I added one in just for the lulz, just to see what could happen. But we have one here. If you need to change your baby, you've got one. We also have a little internet cafe type of vibe. So if you have like your laptop, you can do your work here or somewhere different, but you have seating while your clothes are drying or washing. But on this side, I wanted to add in some vending machines to kind of complete the side look. So we have some recycling bins, some vending machines, and some seating. And then on top of each and every build, we have solar panels. Since the idea that I wanted to go for is that Brindleland Bay is eco-friendly, and they have solar panels on all of their roofs to save on electricity and also make the eco footprint in Brindleland Bay more green. But for the menu of this restaurant, I didn't want to add too many options on here. That way it's like not too hard to like pick your appetizers or your main course or your dessert, but it is relatively affordable, and it's kind of like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner type of restaurant. You have your chicken nuggets, your scrambled eggs, your pancakes, your pizza, your chickpea spaghetti, and you also have your delicacy of desserts of ice cream and ice cream cones and gelato, and then your appetizers of bread, cereal, granola, lactose-free cereal, and lactose-free yogurt, and then your drinks, which is not as fancy. Your coffee, your iced coffee, your juice, and that's basically it. I also went ahead and changed all of the outfits for each and every staff, for the chef, the waiters, and also the hosts. The customer attire is every day. And then for the lot traits, we have Chef Kitchen, Penny Pixies, and Fast Internet. But nonetheless, I do hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you've ever made your own community lot in The Sims 4 or just in general, and if you did, what was it and why? But if you do want to download this build, it's up on the gallery. My origin ID is just SpringSims. But as always, I do hope you all enjoyed it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!